I got some more shrink tube. I got a lot more shrink tube, which I will use to finally protect these. But I said in the last video these were art. Why would I care about protecting art? I mean, everything for the arts, but they might become slightly more practical. Why? Fine! I'm gonna build a snake battery. Let's get started. Totally unrelated to this video, Andy, you're a bad influence.
When I came to the little copper beware learners, and so the solar panels need to wait for that to happen.
So as you can see, I've ripped it all apart again. A lot of you have commented that the total length of wire used switching to these longer flexible bus bars is equivalent to the amount of wire I took out by getting rid of that long positive. Absolutely agree. I mean, I could measure it to figure out exactly whether that's true or not, but the point remains, yeah, you're probably right, it's not much difference. I still think there's a benefit to having a lot of smaller cables rather than one long cable, just for dissipating heat over a small wire. The comment that keeps coming back up, and I mentioned it myself when I first started this project. I think it was Will Prowse in his video where he had the bloated 302 amp hour cells. I think he called it an S pattern where you put the cells edge to edge and you basically go up, down, or if you have a long depth, up, over, down, and you get your two positive and negatives right at the front. Originally, when I thought of doing the snake pattern, it made the most sense to me that you would go up, down, and up. So 3 wide by 16 divided by 3 rounded down, whatever that number is. But I can't really do that. I need to have even numbers. So either I can do 8 up, 2 across, so 8 up, 8 down, but that would make the battery even longer, or I have to go fatter. And this starts to introduce the concern I have about the engine bay. Will I be able to get 3 of these batteries side by side? I don't know what's better, but you know what? Enough of you have made comments about the snake battery. It strikes me that I should just try it. I mean, you know what they say about assumptions. Ask, you, me. I'm not keen on that stuff. So I'm gonna rip this all apart. It's, I mean, maybe it'll fit in this box, but I highly doubt it, so I'm probably gonna have to slide the box away and figure something out. I've been dreading this because it's gonna be a mess, but science. Woo! Okay, I just learned something. Don't grab with either side of the posts and pull up. It digs into your finger, and you feel that. The current across your finger, that is. I'm just going to measure this to see if it's going to fit in the box, and then I'll know whether I can use this box or not. I'm a metric gal living in an imperial world, so bear with me here. That is just under 10.5 inches. And survey says 11.25 inches. Yep, so that's not going to fit. So this box, I mean, I was going to go away anyway, but it's gone now because what I'm about to do, it's not going to fit. I won't lie, after putting so much work into building this, it's going to be kind of sad to rip everything out of this. Oh well. I keep saying it doesn't matter, but clearly it does because I keep moaning it. Now, I should be wearing my glasses. Even though I don't have any wires here, I'm about to start stripping these. Where did I put my safety McGurgles? I should mention, I am looking at a particular type of boat. I haven't purchased it yet, but there's one that's very appealing to me. I'm not going to tell anyone what it is yet. A surprise. Anyways, it's an older boat, and for the life of me, I cannot find the size of the engine bay. But I did find, here's a hint for those of you who like mysteries. It's got a Westerbeek 58 horsepower diesel in it. And I have the dimensions of that. And I don't know if it's deep enough with the space they would have put around it to put the battery in one long configuration like this anyway. This is actually part of the reason why I got interested in trying the snake pattern. On top of all the lovely comment of you lovely people, it might actually be that I need to go a little bit shorter and a little bit fatter. I'm hoping by the time oh yeah, that's right, I can't build this battery this weekend because I'm waiting to hopefully get a tour of the boat. And if I do, I'm hoping to be able to ask to get measurements of the engine bay. If I can get that, then I'll know which sizes are viable and which sizes aren't. There we go. Smart shunt out. And the last piece is the main disconnect switch. Oh, you know what's not gonna fit? Oh, I'm gonna have to cut out my faceplate. That makes me sad. I mean, it shouldn't. I'm about to remove it anyway. But I can't pull the Anderson connector cable out because of the ring terminals on the end. Oh well. So it goes. One of the things I like to always do when I am pulling things apart, if there's a nut and screw component, immediately put, or nut and bolt component, is I immediately put them back together so that I don't lose them. Okay, so that's done. Now I need to pull that apart. Bypass resistor, or yeah, bypass pre-charge resistor, whatever you want to call it. Here's the problem. That's not going to fit. And to be perfectly honest, those ring terminals are worth more than that piece of 1/8 inch oak-faced ply. So it's going to get cut. This box served me well, but its days are over. And thusly the cables are freed. This box is officially retired. I might as well put this towel back to use so I don't scratch out my lovely table. I normally try not to be quite so braggadocious, but my woodworking teacher helped me build this desk, and it is one of the things I am the most absolutely proud of. Main pack negative, 2 negative, so positive, negative. So that's 3 positive. I want to go, or sorry, 2 positive to 3 negative. I can only say how glad I am learning all of this here in the house and not on the boat where space is even more constrained. Battery 3 positive, so battery 4 negative. So that's battery 4 positive, so I want battery 5 negative like that. So it's going to be main pack negative, jump, 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 jump. So 5 positive, 6 negative. Now I want 7. 7 negative, 6 positive, jump. So that's positive, so I want 8 negative. Okay, so jump. Okay, here we go. Let's bring the other miscellaneous parts up. We're gonna have to reassemble this. All the long ones are now the art. Well, I thought these were the art. Maybe those will be useful again. I don't know where this is going to go. But for now, they're the art. Those are the useful ones. Bring all these parts back together. mention about how much I love these Velcro straps? Okay, let's review what I mean by a snake battery. So again, I don't claim ownership of the name snake. I don't know if it was Will that first said it, or maybe it was Andy, but someone mentioned this because it's kind of like slithering back and forth. So this is going to be battery 1, main pack negative, battery 16, main pack positive. So the idea is that it's going to go main pack negative, jump to 2, jump to 3, jump to 4, jump across to 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, main pack positive. Okay, so the main downside to me is, you might have heard me mention in the past, I want this stick, this gum stick battery, something that's narrow, short, and deep, because that's what I expect to have available to me in the engine bay of the sailboat. That's a guess. I could be wrong. It could be that the engine bay is a lot shorter and has more width than I expect, or more depth than I expect. With this design, I should pause. I have a constraint in that the overpressure valves, these blue discs you see here, I want them pointing up, as much as up is a thing on a boat. The reason is that if these ever burst, fluids can come out, and that fluid is nasty. So if it bursts, I want the least amount of it to spill. So I'm not going to mount them sideways or any other orientation except as you see them. So with that said, one option I have available to me, if I decide to settle on this design, is I could do 2 packs side by side, so first pack, second pack, and then do 3 tiers. 1 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier. I'm replacing a 1980s 58 horsepower diesel motor. These things are not small. So this actually might work. And also in the engine bay, I'm hoping, with the particular vessel I'm looking at, no spoilers, I don't have a lot of other place for mechanical equipment. So one of the other benefits of going to a shorter pack like this is if I do have space in the back, that can be where I can mount the Victron Quattro and the galvanic isolator I plan to purchase later. You might be asking where I'm going to put the electric motors. It's a secret. I don't know if it's going to work, but I've got an idea. It's a bit weird. Oh, I had some people mention that I should go out like this. If you recall, this is going to be a contained pack, and there'll be a wall right there, so I can't go outside of the outer boundaries. And there we have the short ones pushing apart. If I was going to make these again, I'd probably make them smaller. However, that is not today's problem. But this takes me back to the shorter cables. In fact, I'm curious. I said before that I didn't think this was possible because I didn't think... Oh, look at that. Now, if that works... Okay, that was the direction that doesn't work. The bus bars that it come with are not long enough to go end to end. Oh, and you'll also notice I shrink them. Or, honey, I shrunk the kids. I put heat shrink tubing on them. One thing that some people mentioned that is a valid concern with the design I had with the interlaced layout from the last video. One of the concerns is that I did have wires laying over wires, and that little bit of motion over many, many years and thousands of cycles could eat through and cause a short. I don't think it's a big concern, but I think it's enough of a concern that it can't be ignored. Seeing how much bend is on this, I'm really tempted to make these shorter still. How many cables and how many ring connectors am I going to go through before I am finally happy? That was both a rhetorical and a serious question. Oh gosh. Do I stop now and just make new cables? I don't think I have enough of these. I bought 100 of these. Oh wait, I bought 100 of these. No, I bought 50 and then I bought 25. Shite. I'm going to have so many insulated jumper cables, and I'm not going to use any of them. So what's the concern I have right now is that if I do this, eventually at some point I have to double back, and that's going to mean I'm going to have wires rubbing against each other, which was one of the things I wanted to avoid. Proof of concept. Let's keep going. But I'm going to have to make these shorter. There's just no way about that. The only other option is you can buy these ring terminals that are bent at a 90-degree angle. So basically you grab this and fold it out. Actually, I wonder if I could do that as a test. So what you would do is you would fold it up like that, and then it would be an arc. But I need my height. I can't sacrifice that kind of height. As fun as this is, it is also frustrating sometimes. Anyways, I've had a few people ask if I could create a list of all of the tools and stuff that I use and that I buy. I don't have that yet, but I do plan to do that. I have not done it yet, partly just because, lack of time, but also because I want to wait until I have a settled design. Once I have a settled design and I'm like, okay, this is how I'm going to build my batteries, then I'll know what ring terminals I'm using. I don't know yet what I'm going to settle on. I don't want to tell people to buy the same tools I have, only to then turn around and realize I'm not going to use those tools in the real world. And then I feel bad that people spent money on my recommendation. I'm going to wait until the battery is done, and then I'm going to do a final video where I'm going to rip everything down to scrap and start over as if it's a brand new build. And when I do that, I will mention every tool I have, where I bought it, where you can buy it. Well, it depends on what part of the world you're in. Of course, I'm in Canada, so some of the stuff I have available to me you won't have available, but I'll do my best. Where's the knife? Ah, there's the scissors. So that tape should keep it from completely blowing apart. Okay, let me show you what I've done here. Battery 1, main pack negative. That's why I'm going to make shorter cables. I don't want the two wires touching each other. As someone mentioned, a few people mentioned, it could potentially rub through over time. But for the sake of this, we should be fine. So, battery 1, 2, 3, 4, across, 5, 6, 7, 8, across, 9, 10, 11, 12, across, 13, 14, 15, 16. So the first thing we got to do is main pack negative. Okay, so I'm going to have to put this at the end like this, and then do that. Okay, I need some more capstan tape. Capstan tape? I don't know how to pronounce this. Okay, just enough to hold the BMS in place. So that's going to be main pack negative. This is going to go to the smart shunt, which means now I can probably afford to put the smart shunt up here, like that. Here's the back of this. Not connected. We shall not have another kablooey. Thank you very much. In case anyone was wondering if these Blue Sea switches are tinned copper, yes, they are. Alright, so that is going to be common. Oh, battery. It wants the battery on that side. Okay, so the battery is going to be on. I think I was doing that wrong before. That is not at all what I wanted. I want you to come out the bottom so I can put the cover on. I think when I build the next box, I'm going to make a new playlist for woodworking and keep it separate from the battery build. I'm going to be soon learning about fiberglass work as well. And I suspect some of you might be interested in those things and some of you will not. So I will keep topics separate. So if there's a video that's mostly just fiberglassing or woodworking, and that is not your cup of tea, it will be easy for you to skip it. hopefully, in the next couple of months, I'm going to be starting a boat conversion video series, and that's going to have a lot of non-battery stuff in it. Still DIY and build, but you can consider it, oh, you can't see anything. You could consider it applied battery tech, I suppose. It's going to be an ongoing battle for me to figure out what the channel's going to want. Because so far, obviously, the primary focus of the channel has been battery builds, because that's what I've been working on. But the battery has always been to the greater purpose of boat build. And navigating when that shift starts is going to be an interesting challenge. If you have any suggestions on how to handle one channel with several topics that keep getting jumped between. There'll be times where I'll be doing fiberglass work and woodwork on the boat that needs to get done before I can get back to battery. I don't really want to have a second channel. I mean, there's an amazingly larger number of you than I ever thought there would be. But I don't think there's really enough to justify a second channel. Yeah, no. Well, anyways, we shall live and learn. So we have the main disconnect switch with the pre-charge resistor connected. There's the main Anderson connector. So what is still missing? This has to go to main battery positive, which will be this one. At which point there will be a connection between negative and positive. Nope, you're staying disconnected for now. How the hell am I going to get the Anderson connector? Do I have enough slack in here? Past me left plenty of slack to plug in. Yay! I thought we were going to have to disconnect that from the bus bars and pull it from under the table. Hey Kepler, are you going to be today's kitty interlude? I can't pick you up, I know. Is there anything else that goes on main battery negative? I don't believe so. Ooh, I need my insulator. I've had this socket set since 1995. Somehow I have not lost the 10mm. I'm going to continue my tradition of putting all of my balance leads on the negative. Now the one major upside to this is I was thinking I was going to have to make new balance leads to make them long enough. With this configuration, putting the BMS at the front, all of the cables that come with the BMS should be more than long enough to reach the back. If I can make this configuration work in my engine bay, I think this might be the winner. I don't know why I poo-pooed it for so long. Oh, internal biases. You'll notice I'm not cleaning the connectors this time. I really like that idea, and I will do it with... Oh, you can't see what I'm doing at all. There we go. I really like the idea of cleaning the terminals, and I will do that, but I'm not going to worry about it until I do the final build. That's also be when I put in the separators. Hello, Lynx. Kepler. That's a saw, that's not a toy. To you too. Do you want to say hi to YouTube? Whoa, and Spook. Say hi, YouTube. Okay, back to our build. I think I'm going to have to replace this cable for at least now, because look at the angle that it's putting on that post. To get that down to 6 newtons, it's going to put a hell of a torque on it. It's going to be the same problem for that and that. So I'm going to replace those 3 cables for this part of the build. It's not pretty, but then this isn't meant to be long term. It's just enough to keep all the wires in control. I think next time I do this, I'm going to run them all to a central trunk. The point of getting ready to turn it on is always the point where I get nervous, and that makes me happy that I still get nervous, because the moment I start taking this for granted is the moment I'm going to cock it up course there's nothing because that's not connected yet. Okay, let's do our final connection. Can you see all this? No, you can't. So I have BMS ground, or common, to the BMS, ground to the shunt, shunt to the negative terminal of the Anderson connector. I have my positive, fuse, switch, which is off, out. So I should have 0 here. So let's check. I'm pretty sure we do. Yep, 0 volts. Okay. Now, let's check our voltage across our BMS leads. 50.2, 53.5. All right. Okay, BMS is connected. Hello. Okay. 0 volts. Press the pre-charge. Nothing because the BMS is off. Turn on the BMS. Pre-charge. 53. Main contact. 53. We now have a live battery. Except I'm going to turn it back off again. Alright. So I'm bringing the main battery contact up from the floor. Positive on the left, positive on the left. And of course I drop a razor blade. Alright, it's connected. It's hanging precariously as I thought it might. Oh, wait, there we go. I have more slack. There, that's good. Where's my sharp? This is the cable for the VE Direct. That's in. Now, I left the Quattro plugged in, so this shouldn't matter, but do a quick pre-charge just to be safe, and contact. I probably should do a video record, but I'm not. So, 25 degrees, balance closed, all the cells look good, voltage deviation is 0.004. Okay, that's it. This is working. This is very anticlimactic, but that's a good thing at this point in the game. That means everything just worked. Sweet as. So the Quattro is currently plugged into the wall because I didn't want to lose power to the laptop when I disconnected the battery, so let's test. Shore power's off. AC loads are still up. We're back to running on pure power, or pure battery. See the power coming out of the battery? Yep, everything's working. It just works. So, I have to say thank you guys for pushing me to build this battery in this edge-to-edge snake format, whatever you want to call it. I'm not too sure why I was so hesitant to do it, why I thought it was going to be a bad idea. It's definitely the configuration that gives you the shortest bus bars, so less heat, less resistance. Not this particular configuration, like I said, I'm going to redo new flexible bus bars. It's wider, but I think if you think about the size of most diesel engines, I think 2 wide, 3 tall is going to work. So the real final decision is going to come down when I actually know what the engine bay dimensions are, but so far this is my favorite design. Just got to make it kitty safe now. I'm the Digital Mermaid. See you next week.